Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and I guess a couple of you out there experiencing traffic in whatever time zone you're in right now, welcome back to Music Village. And now it's time for us to talk about what happened during this week's edition of NXT from the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. And to kick off NXT this week, besides playing the classic Armageddon song of "The End is Here," you also would see Io Shirai trying to make her way to the ring after the Wrath of Cross from last week, only for none other than Dakota Kai to attack her from behind. And to make matters worse, then you would see the Poison Pixie trying to get in on the action, along with Tegan Nox spilling into the ring, leading into the first match of the night, which would be a tag team match between the Poison Pixie and Tegan Nox, with their respective tag team partners of Dakota Kai and Io Shirai. I did that on purpose so it could rhyme, folks. But besides that rhyme we tried to do before this match could really kick off, during this match, speaking of kicks, you would see the captain of Team Kick, Dakota Kai, almost kick the head off of Io Shirai with a side kick for a near fall. Then you would even see Io Shirai alongside with Tegan Nox getting knocked to the outside of the ring with a little bit of chicanery from Candice LeRae, actually pulling Io Shirai to the outside of the ring, knocking her into the barricade, and even seeing Tegan Nox getting knocked out by none other than Dakota Kai. But ultimately, this match will come to an emphatic end once Io Shirai would get the ball rolling for her to pull off a beautiful Tiger Fang kick to the side of the ribs of Candice LeRae, and then swoop to the outside of the ring to hit none other than the captain of Team Kick, Dakota Kai, in the ribs with a tope plancha for none other than Tegan Nox to get her revenge on the Poison Pixie by pulling off the shiniest of wizards for the Queen of the Sky to get lost in the sky with another classic moonsault for the team of Io Shirai and Tegan Nox to win this match via pinfall. And after the match was over, you would see Dakota Kai so far up the ramp, a lot of people believe that she abandoned her partner, which in a backstage interview, she did, and would say that she's sick of these battle royales, triple threat matches, and everything else for her to become the number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship, and would say that she's in the head of Io Shirai and she's the number one contender, only for Rhea Ripley to come from out of nowhere with a brand new hairstyle to say, "Oh, you think you're the number one contender? No, you're not." And we'll see what Mr. Regal has to say about that. For a match to be made next week between none other than Dakota Kai going one-on-one against Rhea Ripley for the number one contendership of the NXT Championship of the Women's Variety. Can't wait to see that match. And the next match to take place on NXT would see none other than Roderick Strong going one-on-one against Johnny Wrestling himself, Johnny Gargano. And during this match, Roderick Strong would live up to his motto of the Messiah of the Backbreaker by pulling off several different unique backbreakers during this match, besides a pendulum backbreaker and even a spinning version of a backbreaker to avoid the one final beat DDT. But unfortunately, once this match hit to the outside of the ring, folks, next thing you know, Johnny Wrestling with his high wrestling IQ would come back during this match, pulling off a Hurricane Rana or a crucifix head scissors into the barricade, running the head of Roderick Strong into the ring post. Then once the match got back inside the ring, the one final beat DDT would connect and Johnny Gargano would be your winner via pinfall. And after the match was over, besides taking an in-depth look of Pat McAfee saying some choice words to Adam Cole, baby, you would see the Undisputed Era getting a pep talk from Kyle O'Reilly to remind them who the hell they are and who was running this place since they came here these many long years ago. For them to get hyped up backstage and for the next match to take place on NXT for this week to be between none other than Mercedes Martinez going one-on-one against Shotzi Blackheart. And during this match, Shotzi looked for a little bit of revenge after what happened to her last week, getting DOS booted out of her tank, and would do so with not only a rope-assisted version of the big girl senton for a near fall, and even pulling off a nasty shotgun-like drop kick to the chest of one Mercedes Martinez. And even though Robert Stone and Aaliyah was at ringside worried about the fact that Shotzi Blackheart was getting the better of Mercedes Martinez during this match, it would be until when Mercedes Martinez would take advantage of the opportunity of Shotzi Blackheart trying to go to the top rope to do her sliced bread number 2, only for her to slice her spine in half with a nasty German superplex from the top rope, leading directly into an air raid crash for Mercedes Martinez to finish her and win this match via pinfall. Now, the only reason we said the whole finish her line was because of the fact that she looked like a character straight out of Mortal Kombat. I guess Katana? Yeah, definitely looks like Katana. If she was bigger, scarier, and didn't have fans, but instead had brass knucks. And the next thing to take place on NXT, speaking of absolutely scary, you would see none other than the limitless champion of NXT himself, Keith Lee, making his way to the ring to respond to what happened last week with Karrion Kross taking out Dominik Dijakovic like Rocky IV. Yeah, with the exception that, he didn't throw in the towel there either, but besides comparisons to Rocky, folks, you would see Keith Lee pissed off saying that Dominik is a grown man and he'll be just fine. But after what Karrion Kross did to try to get Keith Lee's attention for the NXT Championship, which was nothing but, and according to what Keith Lee said, extra bullshit, he said that all he had to do was challenge him like a man and call him out just like he did to Kross. Only for of all people to come out in the worst possible times would be Cameron Grimes, saying, Keith Lee, you're worrying about everybody but Cameron Grimes. And I'm a little upset about the fact that you decided to get rid of that North American Championship before I got a chance to take both of them off your shoulders. Because after I win for that NXT Championship, I'm gonna go straight to the moon. And with Keith Lee already pissed off in the ring, not even looking Cameron Grimes in the eye, Cameron Grimes would say, Keith, do you hear me, man? Keith, Keith! Only for him to get goozled, choke-slammed into the ring, knocked into the corner with a condominium splash, and then the Doomsday Heralder herself, none other than Scarlet, would make her way out wearing a scarlet dress, all looking onward while Keith Lee dispatches of none other than Cameron Grimes with a disgusting spirit bomb after he would try to do the cave-in while Keith Lee was distracted, only for Karrion to appear on the screen and say, what you did to your best friend, watching him suffer there in the middle of the ring last week, that's your fault. That's on your head. You're gonna have to live with that. But you have two choices now. Either to give me the shot that I deserve for the NXT Championship and do this the easy way, or we do this the hard way while we watch everybody you love suffer. And from first-hand experience of seeing what Karrion Kross could do outside of WWE, he's not kidding when he said he's gonna make Keith Lee suffer. But unfortunately, Keith Lee would say, you know what, Kross? You name the time and the place so I can whip that ass. Only for everybody to chant along with what Keith Lee said, but for Commissioner Regal to go on to say, unfortunately, I'm not going to be bullied to giving people title shots, so you're not getting that title shot until you earned that opportunity. So William Regal playing the role of Paulie Clover, for those out there who remember the brand wrestling that was in Vegas that Kross was a part of. And I got a feeling that William Regal may get a house call he may not like. Yeah, Be careful, Regal. This is not like anybody you've dealt with before, and I don't think it's gonna end well if diplomacy fails in the world of Killer Kross. Or Carrion. I keep forgetting. Carrion. But besides that doomsday warning, folks, the next match to take place on this said week of NXT would see none other than Everrise going one-on-one against Imperium. And during this match, Imperium would make really quick work out of Everrise, despite the fact that their tag team continuity during this match, pulling off chops to the chest and even doing a couple of cool tag team maneuvers, would not be enough because Chase Parker would suffer the wrath of not only the dual drop kicks in the corner from Imperium, but would also suffer that European uppercut powerbomb combination that I'm gonna end up calling the Euro Bomb for the team of Imperium to win this match via pinfall. But after the match was over and Imperium decided to pick up the microphone and say the dominant tag team of NXT has returned, next thing you know, you would hear, "Shock the system." And then you would see the Undisputed Era in full force make their way down to the ring and beat the ever-living Daylight's flag tag out of the two members of Imperium, and even seeing Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly hitting their move, the high-low that was known in ECW as the Total Elimination, but here known as the No Man's Land, which is a cooler name for the move if you ask me. For them to say, or more or less, Adam Cole to scream out at the top of his lungs, "We run NXT, and if you think you run NXT, this can happen to you. We run this house, not anybody else." Not verbatim of what Adam Cole said, but after the week that he had, especially on the Pat McAfee show, with Pat McAfee running him down like a dog, and all the losses back and forth for the Undisputed Era over the last couple of weeks, yeah, it was bound to boil over, and it was bound to happen that somebody was gonna get attacked, and it appeared that Imperium was in the wrong place at the wrong time, holding on to the wrong championships that the Undisputed Era wants, and they would actually get a title shot next week from Imperium after that attack. So you're telling me after they attacked Imperium, they're getting a title shot, but yet Kross doesn't get a title shot? I got a feeling somebody's gonna get dive-bombed on their head by next week, but outside of that, folks, the next match to take place on this version of NXT for this week would see Isaiah Swerve Scott going one-on-one against Jake Atlas. And during this match, with both gentlemen trying to prove that they earned their rightful spot to challenge against El Hijo del Fantasma for the Cruiserweight Championship of NXT, you would see Jake Atlas pulling off a very beautiful, and mind you, before this move took place, folks, both of these gentlemen would be fighting their way up to the top rope, hitting each other with shots back and forth, only for Jake Atlas to win the exchange and hit Isaiah Swerve Scott with what I'm gonna call a corkscrew Samoan drop from the top rope for a near fall. But ultimately, this match would come to an emphatic end when Isaiah Swerve Scott would find his groove, kick Jake Atlas in the face while he was attached to the ropes, go outside the ring, and take his head right off with a house call, and then hit the JML driver for him to win this match and further prove why he deserves to be the next contender for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship via pinfall. And the next match to take place on NXT would see none other than the main event of the evening, which would see Dexter Lumis going one-on-one against Timothy Thatcher and Finn Balor in a triple threat match to decide who's gonna make it to the North American ladder match at TakeOver 30. And during this match, action will go back and forth, and at certain points would even see Dexter Lumis getting hurt with an ankle injury during this match, but at the same time still making his way back to his feet to become a constant nuisance to not only Timothy Thatcher, but Finn Balor as well. But Finn Balor during this match would also get picked apart by Timothy Thatcher, especially after he would try to go for that John Woo drop kick on none other than Dexter Lumis, for his leg and knee to get picked apart by the Thatch Can Master, only for, from out of nowhere, of all people, Dexter Lumis to actually hit him with the silence choke, for him to almost fade to black, and then next thing you know, Finn Balor off the top rope with a coup de grace, but would only get a near fall due to the fact that his leg wasn't working for him and he couldn't capitalize to get that pinfall. And to further damage the leg, Timothy Thatcher, taking Finn Balor to a lesson in the classic class of Thatch Can, would then see him getting put in a knee bar, screaming in pain, trying to grab for the ropes, only for Dexter Lumis to once again come back during this match like Jason in Friday the 13th, insert part here, to hit him with the silence choke once again, only for Thatcher to release his hold of the knee bar and pass right out, for Dexter Lumis to earn his spot in the ladder match at TakeOver 30 via submission. Or in this case, via pass out, because he choked him out and then held him in his hands and cradled his head real soft-like after the match was over. Yeah, I would say this guy gives me the creeps, but he's awesome in my book. And with that said, folks, we might as well head back into this music as we go grab a glass of water. And when we return, we'll be back with another Afternoon Delight edition of the Friday Night Greenlight right after this. So don't go anywhere just yet, folks, and stay tuned.